Hi guys, today I want to talk about my ranking of the Chestnut Springs series by Elsie Silver because I just finished it and I want to talk about it. I know some people do their little rankings on here and they talk about which ones they love and which ones they didn't love so much. So I want to put my 2 cents in and I want to talk about which ones I like and which ones maybe I didn't love so much compared to the other ones. I just want to talk about it because guys, you know that I'm a slow reader and this stack took me a while to get through. You know, like looking at all of this together, I'm like, damn. It's a lot of pages, a lot of romance going on. But first I want to talk about my shirt. Okay guys, I dressed for the occasion. I have this shirt that says, "Thank God for Country Boys." And I thrifted it like a while ago and I was like, this is perfect for today's video. I love the color. I love this shirt so much. I always tie it. But like Country Boys, like, you know? Like, not Country Boys that are like homophobic, racist, Republican. You know what I mean? Like, not like that. More like these. Let's just get into it. The first book in the series, Flawless, I read like a year ago and I just never picked up the rest. I don't know why. This book was solid romance for me. I thought it was pretty good, a lot spicier and steamier than I thought it was gonna be. I don't know why everyone was like, small town cowboy romances, they're just so cute, a little bit cheeky. I was like, oh, a little bit steamy, that's what this really is. But it was honestly pretty good. I just feel like in here I didn't connect to the characters as much, and also Rhett has long hair, maybe I just couldn't get past that. But I'm gonna be fading in and out of an accent if you can't tell throughout this video. Do they even have accents? The whole time I was reading this I was like, wait, this is a Canadian ranch. Like, anyway, Summer and Rhett, I did really like their relationship. I thought it was cute how this was the introduction when we step into Chestnut Springs. I think the part I love most about this was just the family aspect of it. Found family, not really found family because this is their family, but I just love the like country vibe of it, you know? I thought it was just really good, solid book. I didn't like fall in love with the characters. When I read this, I knew that people liked this book, but it wasn't like anyone's favorite. So I was like, okay, so I don't feel wrong in saying that I don't love this one. It was a good, solid, small town, bull rider, cowboy-ish romance, and I liked it. I don't know why I didn't pick up the rest of the series after it. I was like gonna read them all in one shot, but I think it was just too daunting to like see how many more that I had left. So I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't like love it, like 5-star love it, so maybe that's why I didn't pick it up. Solid book, did like it, 4 to 5 stars, but Heartless, this book was so good. Heartless was a 5 out of 5. I absolutely ate this up. I read it so fast. I don't have a strong opinion about the single dad trope, but I loved it. It was so good. I don't know, something about this book just did it for me. The way that Willow was hanging out with Cade's son and like the bond was forming there, and thus like the bond would form between her and Cade. It was just so good. And also the spicy, steamy scenes in here. You're telling me at the birthday party? You're telling me at the birthday party. I'm sorry, that was insane. But, and also with the plot twist, low-key, not really a plot twist at the end of this, I was like, oh my gosh, what? She's pregnant with this kid. I was like, okay, I'm actually kind of glad to see this happen. But like, the ending in this one made sense because a lot of the other books in the series, I find that there's kind of a problem that just like arises out of nowhere, and the last like chunk of the book is like 3rd act breakup, we can't be together. But this one, this was a valid reason for them to be like, maybe we should put this on pause, think about what's happening now, because she was supposed to stay here for the summer, and then she winds up pregnant with this kid, and it's like, well, what's gonna happen now? Because she's gonna move back to the city, all this kind of stuff. That was a good reason for them to have like a breakup in a sense, or like something to test their relationship. That made sense to me, and I think that's also what made me be like, you know what? This was good. And then, oh my gosh, when she gets back to Cade's house and they have the whole like stone pathway set up, that was so cute. I loved it. I love the relationship between Willa and Luke, and then also Cade and Willa. It was so cute, and she brought out such like the fun side of him. And this one I feel like also explored more of the family dynamics and more how life is on the ranch and everything like that. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. I was like, okay, you know what? I missed out. I read this one and I just didn't read this one for a year. This one's so good. I feel like Cade might be my favorite Eden brother out of the bunch just because I love this one so much. Yeah. Wait, I just realized that I'm going off of like first book. I should be telling you guys my favorite book first. This is my favorite book, Heartless. This was number 1 out of the bunch. I did this wrong. Let's act like this one hasn't happened yet. The first book out of the bunch is Heartless. Second book, okay, see, this is where it gets kind of tricky. Second book might be controversial. is Hopeless, guys. This one was a solid book. I felt like the love between them was great. The one thing I felt like I was missing though was the camaraderie, the like family dynamics, that kind of vibe. Hopeless had it, but it wasn't as hard-hitting as Heartless. Once again, I feel like my favorite out of the bunch is Heartless, and this one is a 5 out of 5 for me. Every other one was a 4, or one of them was a 3 low-key for me, but this one was good. It was solid. These are all really good, solid cowboy small town like romances. Not even all cowboy, but just small town romances, and I really did like this one. I felt like Beau and Bailey were equally matched for each other. Also, didn't realize how crazy like the age gap was. Also for this one too, it was age gap, single dad. This one's also age gap, but I think this one was more of an age gap because what, she was 21 or 22? Yeah, she was 22 and he was 35. Put that into perspective. Once again, the one thing at the end with this is that he owned the bar, and I don't know if that was like something we should have put together in our brains before we read that. I had no clue. I wasn't really picking up when she was putting down. I was just like, oh my gosh, wait, he owns the bar. I don't know why that was so shocking for me, but like, hey, I was shocked with Bailey. I had no clue. But also I'm like, I get what she was saying, that like he kind of handed it to her, but also he didn't, because he had no attachment to this other than he was just like the owner of it. He didn't know what was going on at the bar on the daily. He was just there that one time and then just never left because she was there. You know what I mean? So like I get that aspect of it, but also like it was a way for them just to break up again, and also they knew they both loved each other at that point, so it was kind of like, okay, now we're just throwing a wrench in the plans for what? I don't know. But also it was very cute because like he had all of this knowledge of being in like a special ops unit or something like that in like the military, and then I feel like it was perfect for him to want to be a firefighter. It was like the perfect transition for that, and I was like, I didn't even think about what job he could have. I was just like, damn, I guess he's working on the ranch, but he didn't want to work on the ranch, which I thought was a good job for him. But hey, he didn't want that life, and that's okay. That life is not for everybody. So I think a firefighter was like perfect for him. And then for her to go to school at the end, I thought this one just worked out really well in the way they had their own little time at the lake together when they both had their own issues, but were able to like be each other's biggest cheerleader in a way. So Hopeless is my second favorite out of the bunch. Next will have to be Reckless. I really did enjoy this one. I also just felt like though it was already, you guys already like each other. It's pretty much destined. You guys are gonna get together. You guys have a kid together. So what's the issue here? I also feel like this one had more of a family dynamic than Hopeless had, but also I was like, these people already know each other. They've like been in the same realm with the family and they're introduced to each other. They already know what's going on, and you guys have a kid together. Like, yeah, he didn't know. I was so pissed when he didn't know about the kid. I was like, when is she gonna tell him? Like, that's crazy. And then also being robbed in like the first chapter of like them getting together. I was like, are we just never gonna know what happened? I hate time jumps, and for there to be like what, a time jump of a year or something, I don't even know. I was just like, oh, she already has a kid. Okay. And we haven't talked to him whatsoever. Got it. Sure. But I really liked Theo's character. I thought he was very fun, the opposite of Winter completely. But also, they pair each other so nicely. And then also their kid, like it was perfect. But also I don't see why they couldn't just be like, hey, let's just get together. I guess it was more in Winter's part, but I understand her character and the complexities and everything in that. But I'm so glad that he fired his like assistant or whatever, because how do you get a text message if you're the assistant running Theo's phone and she's like, hey, I'm having your kid, I'm pregnant with your kid, and he's like, whatever. What? How do you just move on with your day? How did the intern, assistant, whoever not feel something like, hey, maybe I should let him know, maybe I should tell him? It would have all been fixed if he just boop boop boop, hey, had his own phone, you know what I mean? But I digress. That's just the way the story was written. That's the way it panned out. So I did really like their story, but I felt like they could have just gotten together. Like by the time they were at the wedding, everything was like peachy keen, you know? Everything was like pretty much fine. Just the fact that he made that one comment and he's like, you're cold as ice, like whatever, and then that kind of like set them back again. Theo's mom loved her, like everything was fine. The whole family was like, okay, we can totally see now that that's your kid, Theo, like everything's chill. So I really love their dynamics in here. They complement each other beautifully. I just was, I don't know, maybe hoping that it didn't drag out. It didn't feel like it was dragged out because Theo was making up for lost time and having those moments with Vivi. And okay. He was having those moments with his kid and then also having those moments with Winter that he like missed out on, and then also at the very end like he's gonna be able to relive all those moments again with their second kid. So it all ended up working out. A nice little bow at the end. I thought the ending was super cute. I did really like this, and I'm glad that he got to do his whole bull riding thing as well. So that one is my third favorite out of the bunch. I feel like this is a very controversial take so far because people, I feel like low-key hate these two. I don't know, I really liked them, you know? And so the next one would have to be Flawless, and I did already talk about this one because I went out of order and I'm just dumb like that. So this one would have to be my fourth ranking, and so that only leaves room for one more book to be on the very bottom, and it is Powerless. I thought I was gonna love this book and I just didn't connect with it like I thought I was going to. I just could not really fully connect with these characters, and they were also so far removed from the actual core family group. I honestly thought I was gonna love this one. Reading the back of it, I was like, okay, we have traumatic backgrounds, we have really like complex characters. These two are kind of like friends to lovers, like family friends, even though everyone's like, y'all are cousins. They're not actually, but the fact that they knew each other and there's so much history there, I just feel like we could have dove into their characters a little bit more, and I feel like we did get that, but not as like deep as I wanted, and I didn't like really connect with these characters like I thought I was going to. And I don't know why. We ended up going to, what's her name, Violet, I think is like their other sister, which is a whole other series that I had no clue about. I feel like if I read that other series then I would probably enjoy this book a lot more, because we spent time over there in another ranch and I was like, I don't know any of you guys. Who are you guys? We weren't at that ranch for like too long, but still I was like, I know who none of you people are, and I felt like I just didn't know enough about Jasper and the other stories as like an introduction to fully know. And also, what was her name? What was the girl's name? Sloane. I also didn't know enough about her from the other books to feel attached to her character, and she also has this, I don't know, troubled home life about being a ballerina and everything that comes with that, and then also her parents being like super rich and like not supportive of her and Jasper, and it's like this whole thing. And the guy in the beginning, it's like I felt like we just got plopped in here in the middle of nowhere, because it starts off with the wedding and I'm like, whoa, who's Sloane? I kind of low-key forgot. I was like, I don't know enough about Jasper to really connect with him, and we're just at this wedding and I'm like, okay, we're here. I feel like even the basis of their relationship and like the memories they had, I didn't feel even connected a whole lot to those when they were like reliving the memories in their head and like talking about stuff. And then the road trip, like I said, just completely pulls them away from the family dynamic that we already know and love. I don't know, I felt like I was a little bit fish out of water with this one, and it was like low-key a sports romance too, and I was like, this is gonna be so good. And then this one was probably the most like third act breakup irritating to me, because I was like, now why do we have this much left and we're like all happy here, and then boom, out of nowhere we break up and then we have to like fight to get back to each other, and I'm like, yo, we're already happy. What? Why do we need this little extra bit? I don't know. I don't know. I thought it was gonna be so cutesy and I was gonna like fall in love with them, but I just felt very detached from them and their love story, and I feel like we didn't see enough of them as like kids and how they had like a spark and connection from then as like a friendship, and how it morphed into something else. And they were always talking about the past and, oh, you know, we were up on the roof. I don't know, I just didn't feel connected, and I feel like this is a lot of people's like favorite. Maybe I'm getting that wrong, I don't know, but for me it was number 5 on my list. So this is my full ranking of the Chestnut Springs series. Hold on, I totally forgot to mention that Harvey's story at the end of these books was literally the cutest thing ever. And can I just say, the most redeeming part about this book, yes, I'm glad the couple ended up together and everything ended up working out, but the best part of this book was Harvey's story at the end and Sloane's mom. Like, it was so cute, and it made the whole book for me. And what I thought was so cute is that every time we finished one of the books, there was like a little epilogue something about Harvey and how he was like so lonely and trying to date and like trying to find somebody. Cordelia was the perfect person for Harvey to end up with, because that was their mom's sister, like that's their aunt, and like she knows the way that Harvey loved her and Cordelia loved her so much. It was just so perfect, and I feel like it was the exact thing that Harvey needed. And I loved always finishing the book and reading that little extra piece beast. It was just adorable to see like all of the kids like find their person and like their love story and everything about it. But we're also getting Harvey's at the end of theirs too, just like a little snippet of it, because that's all we needed. It was a cute little thing to make sure everybody was happy, wrapped up with a bow. And the way that it ended too, oh my gosh, so cute with Harvey's birthday and all of the inside jokes from the whole series. It was adorable. I love Harvey so much, and I'm glad he's so happy with Cordelia. I give this series probably a 4 out of 5 overall, just because I love the family dynamics. Obviously, you could tell that I didn't like love every single book in the series, but I do love the whole timeline aspect of it. Like, everyone you got to see have their moment, but it was like in one timeline. It was so good. Everybody ends up with who they love. They all end up having kids and getting married. Harvey got his happy ending too. It was adorable. I do really like this series. Yeah, guys, that is my ranking of the Chestnut Springs series. Obviously, I loved some books more than others. Let me know if you guys have read the series and what your rankings are, because I'm very curious to know. I feel like this is a well-loved and hyped up series. I did love the whole small town cowboy aspect of it. It was just a really fun vibe to be in. And yeah, let me know if you guys think I should also read the next series, which is what I have it somewhere. Wild Love, I think is what it's called, which is Willa's brother, and it's going to be like his friend group and all of that. And then I don't know, should I read the other one? What was it called? Like Wishing? No, that's their ranch. Wishing Will Ranch. The one that has like Violet's story in it. I have no clue what that one's called. Gold Rush Ranch. Should I even bother reading that? I feel like that was the origins, and then Chestnut Springs, and then Wild Love, and like that one is the next one. I don't know, but maybe I'll read Wild Love because I do have it. So maybe I'll get into this one too. I think this one already has like 3 or 4 books out already. So once again, I'm slacking just like usual, but I don't know, maybe I'll read this one. But anyway, that is the end of this video, and I hope you guys enjoyed. Bye!